How do you awaken desire in a woman who doesn't seem interested at all? That question alone has confused men for generations. You meet a woman who feels different, smart, attractive, magnetic, but no matter how polite you are, how attentive you become, how much effort you put in, she stays distant. Sometimes she even pulls away the more you try, and that's the part most men don't understand. Because the truth is this: you're not failing because you're doing something wrong. You're failing because you're doing the right things in the wrong sequence. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 psychological triggers that quietly shape attraction beneath the surface. No gimmicks, no manipulation, just how the human mind actually works. Fair warning though, the final trigger is so powerful it can reverse the dynamic almost instantly, and almost no man uses it correctly. Before we begin, there's something important you need to hear. This was never your fault. No one teaches men how attraction really functions. School never explained it. Society never broke it down. You were taught to be logical, respectful, convincing. But attraction doesn't operate on logic, it operates on emotion. While you were trying to prove you'd be a good partner, her subconscious mind was scanning for entirely different signals, signals tied to instinct, safety, and polarity. Psychology, and especially evolutionary psychology, shows us that attraction follows patterns, mental shortcuts, behavioral cues, energetic signals that bypass conscious thought. When you understand those patterns, something shifts. You stop chasing, you stop performing, and you naturally become the man women feel compelled to move toward. Let's start with the first trigger: masculine presence. This has nothing to do with muscles or appearance. It's about energy. When you enter a space, do you expand or do you contract? Women sense this almost immediately, often within the first 3 seconds. A man who moves calmly, who isn't rushed, who isn't scanning the room for approval. That kind of presence communicates value before a single word is spoken. Picture this: you're at a bar or social event. Instead of constantly checking who's watching you, you relax, your shoulders settle back, your movements slow down. You observe the room without tension. That subtle shift alone can flip the way she perceives you. The second trigger is emotional challenge, and this is where most men play it safe. They agree with everything. They avoid tension at all costs. They think harmony creates attraction. But here's the truth: tension isn't conflict, tension is contrast, and contrast creates polarity. When you lightly challenge her, when you tease with intelligence and warmth, you create a spark. You show her you're grounded enough not to seek approval. For example, she tells you she loves waking up early. Instead of instantly agreeing, you smile and say, "Really? You strike me as someone who hits snooze at least 5 times." That's not disrespect, that's playfulness, and it signals confidence. If this is clicking for you so far, tap the like button. It lets me know this message is landing. Now let's move to the third trigger: selective attention. This is where most men completely derail their chances. They give everything too quickly, all the attention, all the availability, all the validation, right away. And without realizing it, they erase the mystery that attraction feeds on. They reply to every message instantly. They rearrange their entire schedule just to be available. And without realizing it, they send a signal that quietly kills attraction. Because the female brain doesn't interpret constant availability as devotion, it reads it as low social value. A man who truly has options isn't always on standby. The principle here is simple but powerful. You need to show interest without making her the center of your universe. When your life is full, goals, passions, friendships, purpose, you become far more compelling than the man who drops everything the moment her name appears on his phone. Scarcity creates value, and value creates desire. Now let's move to the fourth principle: strategic active listening. This goes far beyond just hearing words. It's about listening with intent. When you notice small details she mentions casually and then reference them later, you bypass surface attraction and enter her emotional world. Very few men do this well, and emotional connection is the fastest gateway to desire. For example, she casually mentions she loves orchids. 3 days later, you see one while walking and send a photo with a simple message: "Walked past this and thought of you." That moment lands deeper than compliments ever could. It shows presence, awareness, care, and that kind of attention is quietly irresistible. The fifth trigger is calibrated vulnerability. Many men believe they must appear flawless, untouchable, always in control. But women don't bond with perfection, they bond with authenticity. When you share something real, a past mistake, a fear you overcame, a lesson you learned, without seeking sympathy or playing the victim, you become relatable, grounded, human, and human is attractive. Strength isn't about hiding your experiences, it's about owning them. Next comes the sixth principle, progressive physical touch. There's real science behind this. Light, respectful physical contact releases oxytocin, the hormone responsible for bonding and trust. We're not talking about anything intrusive. A brief touch on the arm when she laughs, a gentle brush of the shoulder as you walk side by side. These small moments build physical familiarity without pressure. Over time, her brain begins associating your presence with comfort and positive emotion, and that association is powerful. This is the kind of psychological depth I explore in my full guide, Attraction Secrets. It breaks these concepts down with mind maps, real dialogue examples, and practical frameworks you can actually use in real life. And now we reach the seventh and most powerful trigger, controlled unpredictability. The human brain is wired for dopamine, and dopamine isn't released through certainty, it's released through rewarding uncertainty. When you're slightly unpredictable, when she can't fully map you out, you become mentally stimulating. This doesn't mean being inconsistent or emotionally unstable. It means balance. Sometimes you initiate, sometimes you pause, sometimes you're warm, sometimes you challenge. You reveal depth, but never all at once. That healthy mystery keeps her mind engaged, even when you're not around. Now you have real tools, not cheap tricks, not manipulation. Tools grounded in how attraction actually works. Use them with awareness, use them with respect, and notice how your experiences with women begin to shift. Subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. And remember, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be intentional. From this point forward, you're no longer guessing.